Nobody want my name to go. You see, yesterday was the soup.
You know, it's been coming, and we've been celebrating gradually. So there's no point in making too much noise. This is the first of many. There's nothing to kind of, next year we are winning.
Treasure this
my brother.
For they might be your life.
I had a dream in 2011 we had won, and they say I had drank alcohol.
That's the dream. But it took 9 years for your dream to come to fruition.
The vision is for an appointed time.
Though
it carries weight for it.
That is why you must enjoy the dream when it comes true. It might take another 9 years. Anyway, let me give you the front page of the Daily Graphic, Bernard. Blame political actors for violence.
Okay.
EC. Police warn lawbreakers at registration centers. Say cases of violence being investigated. Minister's directive to GBC undermines constitution. According to the NMC, I was never flown out, says the president.
Now, the Ghanaian Times, disturbances at voter registration centers deal with troublemakers, EC tells security agencies. Gets fund issues 2-week ultimatum for contractors to go back to site. GBC's DTT platform brouhaha. National Media Commission kicks against Communication Ministry order. President cuts short for construction of 600-bed Eastern Regional Hospital. And Finance Minister outlines measures to boost economy amidst COVID-19 today.
Front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. Nana Star's 70 million euro hospital in Kofodia. Tears and wailing as Baumia mourns, Sir John. No chance for John Mahama, says Gabia Sarachidako. I didn't fly to UK for COVID-19 treatment, says the president.
The Chronicle. Kofodia goes gaga over new regional hospital. Confanoche Teaching Hospital records 81 COVID-19 related mortalities. Politicians are not policemen at registration centers, EC, and NDC threatens to deal with soldiers, police drastically should they come back to power.
Front page of the Daily Statesman also comes with the sword-cutting ceremony in Kofodia. Akufo-Addo Mahama, past records matter most, Gabi says. Promises will be less important in December polls.
Now the Business Finder, mid-year budget expectations high. ICU pushes for extension of subsidies on utilities. Guta wants permanent bailout fund. 70 million euro Eastern Regional Hospital project takes off. And mobile money interoperability volumes soar over 400%.
Front page of the BNFT, Bernard. Nice one here for you. Your good friend, Abnosei Puku. Absa MD named outstanding woman CEO of the year.
Yeah, it's been coming. It's been coming.
Nice.
COVID-19 school shut down. TV, radio, better learning platforms than online. According to a new CDD survey with Afrobarometer, $12 million smart metering system to ease ECG's revenue collection challenges, according to MEDA. And microfinance companies see deposits decline by 57 million Ghana cedis.
The new Crusading Guide. Royal feud hits Eastern region as Ochehene snaps Otibuating in new House of Chiefs structure. Akufo-Addo cuts short for 70 million euro Eastern Regional Hospital. 28 communities connected to the national grid. And Obriyeboa shares PPE at Ofuase Ayerebi.
Let's move online. CityNewsroom.com 2020 media budget review to be presented today. Also, special prosecutor alleges forgery impersonation in Airbus bribery scandal. Other stories. NMC blocks Communication Ministry from limiting GBC Crystal TV channels, and how Akumsin's use of firearm at registration center is justified, according to Nana Obri-Boahin. If you go to citybusinessnews.com, expand TaxNet to boost revenue. Guta to government. Also, there's an article on mortgage in Ghana, the myths and the facts, and producer price inflation for June records marginal increase. Now, if you go to myjournalline.com, Jean Mensah reacts to Mohammed's decision to enter voter registration centers. Also, directive to reduce GBC Crystal TV channels outside Communication Ministry's mandate, according to NMC. And 683 new cases pushes Ghana's COVID-19 count to 29,672. Now, let me go to the Ghana News, the Star News. There are lead stories on DTT Ampas. You cannot reduce GBC's channels, NMC to ESLA. Also, how Akumsin's conduct must not be tolerated, Christian Council. Meanwhile, media budget, parliament bars media and visitors over COVID-19. Now, if you go to Ghana Report, there's an interesting story as well ahead of the budget. COVID-19 has rendered 500,000 people jobless in Ghana. This is according to the Trade Union Congress. Now, GNA also on NMC. We are led to our guardian role. They will not allow and illegality to take place, according to Yabuedu Ayabuafo, the Yabuedu Ayabuafo-led group. Those are the big stories making the headlines. So let's start with the political violence story. Graphic is talking because quite a number of people have joined the fray.
All right,
Christian Council, Ghana Bar Association, and all these bodies are talking about what's happening at registration centers.
Okay, let me tell you then about the EC's version. The Electoral Commission has blamed political actors, especially at the local level, for the pockets of violence that have been witnessed at some registration centers in the country. It has therefore cautioned politicians to play by the rules of engagement and refrain from any act that would mar the registration exercise. Addressing the Let the Citizens Know series in Accra yesterday, the Deputy Chairman of the EC, Mr. Samuel Tete, said the EC vehemently condemned such acts, especially during a civil exercise such as the registration of voters, and called on the security agencies to investigate the issues as a matter of urgency and bring the perpetrators to book to serve as a deterrent to other would-be offenders. They also spoke about enhanced security and also gave some numbers. Bernard, let me give you the numbers. I like the numbers. At the end of the third phase, 8,246,140 applicants had been registered, representing almost 55% of the Commission's national projected registrable figure of 15 million. He explained that as of July 2020, a total of 9,860,164 applicants had been registered, representing 65% of the projected 15 million.
Now, if you check the center spread of the Ghanaian Times, deal with troublemakers, EC tells security agencies. And a very important thing that Mrs. Mensah said was that no politician or Ghanaian is supposed to go to the centers to resolve issues. So we encourage Ghanaians and politicians to go through the procedures that have been put down. When we try to resolve these issues on our own, we find that it leads to a chaotic situation.
Christian Council is already speaking. CityNewsroom.com. Hawa Kumsin's firing of gunshots totally condemnable. The Christian Council of Ghana has taken a swipe at MP for Ewutu Senya East Mavis Hawa Kumsin over what it says was a violent firing of gunshots at a registration center in the ongoing voter registration exercise. According to the council, the EC and the IGP must immediately launch an investigation into Hawa Kumsin's action, together with other violent cases reported during the mass registration exercise. Still on this, NDC says dismiss, prosecute gangster Hawa Kumsin. Wow, this is a gangster in quote, according to the NDC. And the story is by Ernesta Himfo, and it reads, the opposition NDC is calling for the immediate dismissal of the and prosecution of the Minister for Social Development Initiatives, Mavis Hawa Kumsin. Now, at a press briefing at the party's headquarters in Accra, the Director of Elections Officer Free Ankara said Hawa Kumsin and her accomplices should be made to face the law with immediate effect. Meanwhile, I'm just coming. Nana Obri Boahin, who's the Deputy General Secretary of the MPP, is singing from a different hymn sheet. Hey. He says Hawa Kumsin's use of a firearm at registration center is justified. Now, he spoke on Eyewitness News yesterday. A Deputy General Secretary of the MPP, Nana Obri Boahin, has defended the Ewutu Senya MP after she admitted to firing a gun at a voter registration center in her constituency. Mr. Obri Boahin insists the MP was justified in discharging a firearm because it was in self-defense. As far as he's concerned, the MP has not committed any offense. She has the right to defend her life, limb, and liberty under the Constitution of Ghana. Nana Obri Boahin, who is also a lawyer, said.
Page 16 of the Daily Graphic also says, police warn lawbreakers at registration centers. Say cases of violence being investigated. The police administration has warned that anybody found culpable in acts of violence during the ongoing voters registration exercise will be brought to book. A statement signed by the Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent of Police, Mrs. Sheila Kessi Abeye Bachman, and issued in Accra, they said the police administration was gravely concerned about reports of violence in the ongoing voters registration
Let's
exercise.
go to the budget, Kojo. What is the story? He's reading the midterm budget today.
In fact, let me read the stories in a different way.
Okay.
President casts sword for construction of 600-bed Eastern Regional Hospital.
Okay.
Because you are going to have 6 new regional hospitals and 88 district hospitals.
Yeah, man.
Now, below that, on the same page of the Ghanaian Times, Finance Minister outlines measures to boost economy. And we will have insights as to how we are going to fund these hospitals.
Yes,
and the
indeed.
loan agreements and everything.
Yes, indeed.
So let me give you the first one by the President. The President, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, yesterday cut the sword for the construction of the Eastern Regional Hospital in Koforidua. The 70 million euro project, which is the first phase, would be undertaken by Ellipse Project and Tylium Company Limited for 3 years. Funded by the Standard Chartered Bank in the UK, with credit guarantee from the UK Kingdom, export financing to the tune of 7.9 million euros. The project, at its completion of the first phase, would have 285 beds out of the total of 600 beds. Now, we are told that in addition to the regional hospitals, 88 new district hospitals would be built and some others upgraded.
Okay.
And the president said that the district hospitals would be designed to the highest quality, and each of them would have a 100-bed capacity
All right.
with accommodation for doctors and nurses and other workers. Now, if you look at this story we are building in the Eastern region and you think about the NMS projects, the funding arrangement is almost similar.
Okay.
Maybe later when we get the details, we can see the
Meanwhile, that
similarities.
means that Mr. Oforiatta has more money to look for.
Well, we are taking a loan to do this, but Mr. Oforiatta is also in the center spread, and the story says the Minister of Finance, Ken Oforiatta, will this morning present this year's budget review to Parliament as the COVID-19 pandemic bites hard on the economy. The mid-year review is expected to focus on measures to boost revenue, spur business growth, revive and prop up the economy. Mr. Oforiatta will present revised figures on the country's growth rate as a result of the coronavirus, which has affected the country's growth prospects. This would be the last mid-year budget review by the current government and the second and first mid-year COVID-19 budget. That's how the paper puts it. And the presentation of the mid-year review is in line with the public financial
Now, a
management.
couple of things. Media won't be allowed to set up makeshift studios. Only 140 MPs will be in the main room. There will be others who will be in their offices watching to ensure social distancing. There's a related story on the Ghana Report website, which I feel is useful here. It says COVID-19 has rendered 500,000 people jobless in Ghana, according to the TUC. It's a story written by Dave Alamisi, and it reads: the devastating impact of COVID-19 is profoundly being felt in the pockets of Ghanaians, with as many as 500,000 jobs lost. The Trades Union Congress estimates that as many as 100,000 lost jobs in the formal sector, and 400,000 jobs were wiped out in the informal sector after an evaluation of the market. COVID-19 has killed these sources of income in less than 6 months since Ghana recorded its first case on March 12 with mass redundancies. Here's a quote: we estimate that about 500,000 people will have lost their jobs and livelihoods. Dr. Kwabena Nyakwotu, the Chief Economist and Director of Labour Research and Policy Institute of TUC, told the Ghana Report. Consequently, he has urged the Minister of Finance to introduce comprehensive aid for the affected people, as well as businesses reeling from the effects of the virus. Then there are other people calling on the minister to do all kinds of things. If you go to City Business News, it's rife with stories like this. Guta says, expand tax net to boost revenue. We've heard this so many times. Story by Mina Dablu. It says the president of Ghana Trade Union Congress, Union of Traders, Dr. Joseph Obing, wants government to use the midterm budget review as an opportunity to widen the country's tax net to capture many more businesses to boost revenue generation. Now, we are told the emergence of COVID-19 has disrupted trading globally, and Ghana is no exception. And from the closure of borders to the change in consumer behavior and spending, members of GUTA also saw a drop in revenue. President of GUTA told City Business News the high cost of credit affects their operations, hence the need for government to come out with a strategy to make access to credit easier and cheaper, especially as businesses seek to bounce back from the impact of COVID-19.
Now, whilst 500,000 people have lost their jobs, there are some 7,000 people who still have what looks like jobs but don't know when they are going to get their salaries.
Okay.
I got a message. Good evening, Kojo. I'm a public sector worker in Sunyang. I pray I remain anonymous. Together with over 7,000 of my colleagues in different government institutions, we haven't been paid our June salaries. We're told it's because we did not take part in a nationwide head count. And she goes on to recount how many times they've been head counted, how many times they've driven from Sunyani to Accra to be captured.
Somebody
and they
sent me
still
a
don't know.
similar message from Accra about 7,000 nurses who want to be paid. In fact, if you look at the wish list of Ghanaians, there's another one here, just a quick one, still on City Business News. Make provision for our $1.4 billion debt in mid-year budget. IPPs to government. Oh Lord, Finance Minister. Now, the Chamber of Independent Bulk Producers is asking government to capture the payment of about $1.4 billion, multiply that by 6, owe them in the budget. Now, you think about it, the last time we went for a midterm budget, we asked for about 6 billion cedis.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody owes you $1.4 billion,
Dollars.
multiply that by 6, that's more than the amount we
But
raised in
you
the
raised
last mid-year budget.
Yeah.
Now, according to the chamber, which is made up of Sunona Sogli, BXC Solar, Senate, Sempower, Car Power, and others, the continuous accumulation of their debt is forcing them to contract costly loans to sustain their generation. Now, CEO of the chamber, Eli Flim Afetogbo, said the IPPs may shut down their plants if payment doesn't come soon. Oh, Lord.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you about the microfinance company since we've entered the business fray, and then we'll do some NMC.
Fully.
Microfinance companies see deposits decline by 57 million Ghana cedis. That's on the front page of the BNFT. And it says that microfinance companies are feeling the stress of COVID-19 on their operations as data from the Industries Association showed that deposits and savings dropped by 57 million Ghana cedis between February and April 2020. A recent survey conducted by the Ghana Association of Microfinance Companies and the network of microfinance institutions in Ghana,
GAMFIN.
yes, has shown that the sector savings dropped from 1,116,992,000 at the end of February to 1,060,000,000 by April 15, 2020.
Let me give you a very positive story for local industrialization. Parliament grants Casapreco Company $28 million in tax waivers. Now the story says,
That one we agree.
yes, the story says local alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverage manufacturer Casapreco Company Limited has been granted a $28 million tax waiver.
Dollar.
Yes. For the procurement of machinery, equipment, and raw materials for the revival of the defunct Paramount distilleries.
Okay.
If you've ever lived in Kumasi, you know the role Paramount played in the industrialization of Kumasi.
Yeah, man.
Now, under government's flagship industrialization program, One District, One Factory, the waiver is the single largest to be granted any firm under the policy. A subsidiary of the state beverage firm Georg Distilleries, Paramount Distilleries located in Tanoso in the Ashanti region, if reactivated under the program, is expected to create 300 direct jobs and some 1,800 indirect jobs.
Wow.
But the other call we can add to this is that whilst we are giving this waiver, we should fix the road from Sofo Line to Boka, because there are a lot of
They
companies.
still not finished that road.
Charlie Bernard, there are a lot of industries in that area, and they spend 4 hours from Ibuaka to Sofo Line and to town sometimes. That's a
But
waste
your
of
secondary school is in
resources.
Sofo Line. Isn't Prempe near Sofo Line?
So Prempe is Sofo Line.
Let's get back to you. Sofo Line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are,
Sofo Line.
we are Sofo Line graduates.
I hear you.
Okay. Let me tell you about the NMC
Yes,
responding to
it's a
the
huge,
minister.
it's a huge
Yeah,
story.
that story is on page 16 of the Daily Graphic. The National Media Commission has described the directive by the Minister of Communication to the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation and Crystal Television for the two entities to reduce their digital television channels on the National Digital Terrestrial Television Platform as a move that undermines the 1992 Constitution. In a statement signed by its chairman, Mr. Yabuda Eboafo, the Commission said the directive by the Minister was a form of political control which hindered the two media houses from adequately serving their purpose as stipulated by the Constitution. Also, it said the directive was a direct attack on the authority of the NMC as stipulated under Article 167 of the 1992 Constitution. And allow me to read a bit, Bernard.
Go ahead, sir.
It is the view of the Commission that any action by any entity which culminates in limiting or depriving the media of the use of public resources legitimately allocated to them undermines their capacity to serve the nation as anticipated by the Constitution. The Commission wishes to state clearly that the directive given to GBC and Crystal TV by the Minister for Communication purports to usurp the constitutional mandate and authority of the NMC, and same cannot be obliged under our current constitutional dispensation.
Let me take you to Special Prosecutor. He's alleging forgery, impersonation in Airbus bribery scandal. City News Room story. Story says, as a Special Prosecutor continues his investigation into the Airbus bribery scandal, he has disclosed the commission of other crimes related to the scandal. According to the office, its investigations have shown that some of the players in the scandal engaged in impersonation and forged documents for the acquisition of a Ghanaian passport. In a statement signed by the Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu, he said some of the players portrayed themselves as graduates of the University of Ghana and civil servants and forged other documents. And then he went on to assure the noisemakers that the investigation into the Airbus scandal has been so thorough that it has even unearthed suspected commission of other related crimes and of impersonation. And he goes on to give the details. Now, let me now take you to a couple of stories. COVID-19 case count is now very close to 30,000. I'm reading the Star FM version. 683 new COVID-19 cases confirmed, taking the country's total to 29,672. Meanwhile, the recovery is 26,090. Active cases 3,429. 153 deaths. Ghana Health Service has announced Greater Accra is not only leading the voter registration, we are also leading the COVID-19 count. You are the comfortable lead there, 15,706. Ashanti is about third, probably 2/5 of that, 6,637. Western region also has 2,030.
And just quickly, the Minister for Information, Kojo Ponkum, on page 2 of the BNFC, is making an appeal. It says COVID-19 is real. And this is because a survey by government has shown that 95% of Ghanaians have one way or another heard about COVID-19. Only 80% of these believe that the virus is real and its impact devastating, with the other 20% not believing it exists at all, or of the view that it is a conspiracy being peddled by government.
Speaking of COVID-19, NDC MPP bigwigs mourn Sir John at 1 week commemoration, and the story says members of the MPP have described the death of their former General Secretary Kwejo Usefree, popularly known as Sir John, as a big blow to the party. The MPP members made this known during the 1 week commemoration of the passing of Sir John on the 22nd of July, held at his hometown, a place called, is it Sakura Wono? Or is it Sakura?
No, Sakrao, no.
Sakura Wono,
I think you got it right.
in the Ashanti region. Vice President Dr. Baumia and other high-ranking officials of the government and other members of the opposition NDC attended the ceremony.
Yesterday, I saw a post by some people from the area who were saying that the government should use this as an opportunity to make good the road promise in the area, because it's quite terrible. And it's an agric-producing area, so maybe this is the time. Now, gas tanker drivers on strike. This is the Chronicle.
Hey.
Yes, they are striking because they say the police has been harassing them in the central and western region. They are not happy with how we are piloting the cylinder recirculation model. They want better salaries.
Hey.
And they are against the position of the MPA not to allow the opening of newly built LPG stations. So they laid down their keys yesterday.
Gas tanker drivers.
Yes, gas tanker drivers. Now, there is some very positive news for you. In fact, two of them. One is in the agric and food market.
All right.
Isoko predicts lower food prices in third and fourth quarters.
Yeah.
Yes. And Thelma Abe writes for the Business Finder that prices of some major food items should see a drop in the third quarter, Isoko Agric Research Body had predicted.
Okay.
The anticipated drop in prices of staples should be a welcome relief to consumers, as prices have been rising lately due to factors including the recent hikes in petroleum prices and resultant increase in transport fares. Now, in the same newspaper, Radisson Hotel Group invests in Ghana. So whilst generally the hospitality industry is suffering, Radisson Group is going to invest in a 121 hotel room facility with 54 apartments.
Okay.
And they say this project will be ready by 2023. So we are looking forward to new
Let me
jobs.
take you international quickly before we wrap up. On page 5 of the Daily Graphic, Bernard, Madagascar hospitals overwhelmed by COVID-19 cases. And according to the story, hospitals in the country have warned they are overwhelmed after a spike. A record 614 new cases have been confirmed in the last day, bringing their total to 8,062 and 69 deaths. They are still talking about their drinks. And then if you go to page 9, finally, Bernard, the tensions between the U.S. and China wrapped up again. U.S. orders closure of Chinese consulate by Friday. That's the
one in Houston.
Reports coming through this morning from the South China Morning Post indicate that a decision will be made on whether to close Hong Kong or reduce numbers in Chengdu or Wuhan. So the Chinese are weighing which one will hit the Americans harder.
Now, the Minister of Lands should check the center spread of the Chronicle.
What will you see there?
More Galamsey stories.
All right, that's all we have time for. Newspaper review. Coming up next is the City Business News. Stay with us.
Today, there are doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals on the front line of the COVID pandemic, sacrificing their own health for the good of the nation. You may not be on the front lines, but you can make a big contribution in a small way to fight this pandemic. With just 10 cities each, together we can help to build an infectious disease